Hello, this is Monica from Seamstreses for Safety, and tonight we're going to be using a very simplified version of our pocket mask, and we're going to cut out a few steps, do things a little differently. And the first thing is going to be starting with a t-shirt. We're going to cut these to use as strips for the ties of our mask. Now there are things on the internet that you can watch videos, even on Pinterest, going step by step, showing you how to cut one continuous tie from either bias tape out of material or the loops for the t-shirt. But I'm just got it here the old-fashioned way. I've already started to create ties, but what I'm going to do is get myself folded in half and a good pair of cutting scissors, and we're going to go ahead and cut about a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch tie is a good measurement. And as soon as we get that tied, what we're going to do here is open up the loop. It'll be a big loop, and we're going to give it a good stretch, okay? And when you stretch this out, it's going to roll on you and make a great string. Now, we are going to use 2 of these, so let's go ahead and cut this in half, and then we can get another one cut here and do the same thing. So this is going to be a really convenient way for you to do no-sew ties, which is great, right? Save a little bit of sewing time. And I'm sure that all of you have these materials, right? So t-shirts, old t-shirts laying around, it's time to clean out the closet, right? Okay, so there we are. Cut this one in half, and we've got our 2 ties. Going to be great long length. And the best part about this too is that then the ladies or the gentlemen that are wearing these masks will be able to trim them to size and not have to worry about having it come unraveled. It's already good to go as is. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the second step. All right, I am going ahead with my material now, and this has been cut the same size as our pocket design that many of you have been using. So this is a 15 by 7 pocket, and I'm going to go about this very differently than the pattern that we have for you already up and running. So this is going to be a simplified version of this, but we'll follow some of the same basic ideas. But instead of doing those 2 ends, what we're actually going to do are 3 seams. So I want you to seam the edge, and I'm going to go ahead and use an iron. You're going to want the iron out for this one, and believe me, if you use the iron, you're going to save yourself some time. And we're going to seam these in as well. So the 2 long ends along with the 1 short end. Get that all pressed down like that. And then we'll do it over here as well. Now I know that this part seems like, well, why the heck are we wasting our time doing this? But once you see this thing come together, you'll realize that this was really a time saver for us. This last part here, I'm not super straight. I've never worried about being straight. My grandma always said she never believed in a straight line. Okay, so now that we've got that, what we're going to do here is stitch around all 3 sides and hold those seams down. All right, now that you have your seams stitched on all 3 sides, what we're going to take is this raw side here, and we'll be folding it down. But first, what I want you to do is to go ahead and get your first tie, these out of the way here, and lay this straight across, okay? So we're going to go ahead and tuck that down. You can just go, I don't know, maybe like 2 inches down. And if you do have your iron on, you're just going to give it a good press, and that'll hold that right into place. And then what we're going to do here is to bring up the bottom side, which has already been stitched, to overlapping just slightly. But if you realize here, we're going to have another opportunity to put in our second tie. So go ahead and grab a second tie, lay that in here like this. We got kind of a yucky spot there. Let me get a different tie. Get a tie here. And then we're going to roll this mask up and just have that overlapping just slightly, and give that again another press. All right, so now you can see that we've got this all ready to go. We'll be sewing up the sides, but before we do that, we're actually going to pinch our pleats and actually iron them flat, which I know I love to just skip ironing, but in this case it really does help. So we're going to go ahead and pinch the fabric just like that and give this a little swipe of the iron, and then we'll grab that and pinch it again, making another fold. Iron that flat. And we're going to go one more time. Pinching that up. Don't worry about your pocket. You can hold these all together here on this last one, just like that. Okay. Iron these flat. And now they're going to stay put for you when you sew. And so all we'll have to do then is to sew right down the sides of these pleats, and we will have a completed mask in lickety-split time. All right, so in record time, we have a mask that's the same size as before, measuring about, I would say about 4 inches by 7. And then we've got our ties that are already attached and stitched right in there, as well as that pocket opening for the filter. So guys, I hope that these little tricks and tips will help make your process for making our masks a lot smoother and a little faster. Thanks so much for tuning in.